The Grind Waterfowl TV is brought to you by Dakota Decoy, premium gunning decoys for demanding hunters. Lucky Duck, masters of deception. Kent Cartridge, quality matters and performance counts. Mud Buddy, the king of mud motors. Excel, the boat to own. Cornerstone Gundog Academy, the most accessible online retriever training program. Yoder Smokers, handcrafted in the heartland. Rig 'em Right Waterfowl, the industry leader in specialty waterfowl products. OnX Hunt, know where you stand. Benelli, simply perfect. Cowboy's Wild Game Washer, as clean as you can get 'em. And these fine sponsors.
This week on The Grind, Bill and Luke are wrapping up an awesome 2-day hunt in Oklahoma and scouting out a spot to pattern a new Kent load. With one more day to hunt with Roy and Grindstone Outfitters, Bill finds out if he can finally find some luck in a timber hole.
Once we called this day 2 hunt, and looking around there, we've got some patterning to do. We wanted to pattern a new Kent load. It's a new, the load they sent me were 3s and 5s, a combo shot load, and we wanted to pattern that along with some bismuth. Pattern your gun, guys. Everything shoots different out of every gun. And looking around, it was a beautiful day. It was 60 degrees, and there was a beautiful clay, I call it clay, Oklahoma red dirt bluff or dirt mound. And I thought that'd be the perfect spot to pattern. So we'd set our goodbyes, let everyone clear out, and then we went and patterned guns. We just finished up our shoot here on our second day in Oklahoma, and it's a beautiful day out. It's about 60 degrees, and we thought what a perfect time to pattern our shotguns. It's been a while since I've done mine. We've got a SBE3 best and my regular SBE3. And Kent has sent me their new stacked, I'm not quite sure what they're calling it yet, but it's a stacked load, I'm gonna call it. It's 3s and 5s. It's their new experimental load that we're gonna try. Then we're gonna compare it with bismuth. And we're shooting Carlson choke tubes. First shot's gonna be with close range, and then we're gonna move to the Carlson mid-range and Carlson long range and just compare them all. And I think just for see the pattern density of everything, we're gonna stay at 30 yards with all of them, even the long range. So Luke's gonna give it a shot. We're gonna shoot the new 3-5 stack load first and take a look at the pattern density, and then we're gonna reload and shoot number 4 bismuth, which we've fallen in love with. We shoot ducks and geese with it, so gonna be hard to change our mind, but we're gonna compare the two right now. Ooh, that's nice. That's really nice. That's close range tube. That's a dead duck at 30 yards. You know, I'd say close range, you'd want to go from 30 in. Yeah. That's dead though. Ooh, there, boom. Ouch. That's why we like number 4 bismuth. I mean, compared to the stacked load, I can tell this load though, that stacked load, you shot a little left. Yep, this one you were more dead on. So they're probably honestly pretty comparable. Right now we're gonna change the choke tube. We're gonna go to mid-range and see what happens. We're gonna stay at 30 yards. I wanna see if that pattern, how much denser that pattern gets, just changing choke tubes. There's a ton of pellets in there. I mean, it's starting to scatter a little because that was a new board, but not much. Nothing's gonna go through that. And that's the new stacked load. That's good though. But not much different. I mean, the density's not much different than the new stack load. No. Yeah, we'll have to shoot some of that stack tomorrow and see how it, yeah, that looks good. I'm not real sure on the, if Jeff told me correctly, on a stack load like that, the big pellets leave first. And the theory is the smaller pellets are drafting behind it, so it's not losing as much speed.
Like cleanup?
Cleanup comes in, the big pellets hit, and then the little ones come in with a little more thrust. Now we're going Carlson long range, staying at 30 yards, and we're gonna do the same order. We'll shoot the new duplex 3.5s, and then compare it to the number 4 bismuth. We're staying at 30 yards just because I want to see, for my mind, because that's about where we shoot birds, I want to see how much tighter that pattern gets. Ooh yeah. Honestly, they're all shooting.
They're all shooting.
Yeah. Now we are at 30 yards. You know, maybe we should have kicked that back 10 yards. But I mean, I'm not kidding you, I won't shoot a duck at 40 yards.
No.
30 yards, that's extent I'll shoot.
Yep.
So this is our last little experiment here. We're using the Carlson long range SBE3, 30 yards. We just shot the Kent stacked load and it was tight. We're gonna see how the bismuth does against that. It says a long range tube. I mean, it's tight. I like the mid range. Just because I like a little more forgiveness in my shot pattern. But we'll shoot this one and see how it compares. I'll make my analysis what I'm going to do in the morning, to be honest with you. Oh boy, you just need pressure on you.
I
Told Luke if he missed this one, he's going to have to buy lunch because it was our last target. But that's the Carlson long range tube with number 4 bismuth. Now granted, we were at 30 yards, but I mean, that is a tight pattern. So if we'd have probably kicked it out to 40 yards, we'd probably seen a little spread in the density or more spread in the shot pattern, but dead birds. But I honestly think I'm going to stick with my mid-range tube, and I'm going to stick with my number 4s. But that new stack load looks like a killer too. Yeah. So we're going to go get some lunch, get ready for day 3, Oklahoma.
Hey guys, Josh with Cornerstone here. I've got Lake with Onyx here, and we are out here wrapping up a training session. We had a lot of fun, but we're also doing some scouting. 2 things. We had a good conversation about getting dogs ready for season. You know, you're telling me about your buddies. You had some friends that were, you know, taking their dogs out there, but they've been kind of, I guess, sitting on the couch
sitting in the backyard all summer.
Yeah. And then getting out there and having all these expectations, and then all of a sudden not going well. You know, we had a good chat about that. Really, you know, my 2 thoughts on that is, hey, these are pro athletes. Let's make sure they're exercised and they're ready. But number 2, you know, that's a way to extend your season. We get to prepare for season year round when we're training dogs. But other than that, on the training tip, that's my tip for you. Make sure your dog is exercised, and make sure that you extend your waterfowl season year round by training your dog. But he had a really cool tip for the Onyx app that just blew my mind. I absolutely love it. You want to share that with them?
Yeah, just a quick tip for scouting for waterfowl, especially if you're going into a new area. It's all about customizing your waypoints to save you a ton of time. So if I'm going through a spot and I see a bunch of prospective spots, I'll drop a waypoint on it, I'll change it to the duck one, and I'll color it. I use white, and if it's white on my map, it means that I have not been there yet. So if I go there and I like it, I'll change it to blue and I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I'll delete it. It just makes it a lot quicker to be able to pull up a map and know exactly what I'm looking at and not have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out whether I've been there or not. Quick tip, seems simple, but it helps.
That's a game changer. You know, Lake shared that with me, and I was like, that is so awesome. I wish I would have used it that way, and I will moving forward. But y'all be sure to check out Onyx's YouTube, Cornerstone's YouTube, because right now we are actually getting ready. We're doing some aerial scouting. We are preparing for a hunt that we're going to be doing soon, and it's going to be pretty awesome. But if you want to check out that training session we talked about earlier too, we're also going to be posting that up on our YouTubes as well. But hope you've enjoyed this tip. Now back to the grind.
So we're still here in Oklahoma. It's day 3. It's our last hunt with Roy at Grindstone, and we get to hunt with Grant again, and he's a hoot. As you'll see, that guy's got more energy than I've ever seen. We're gonna hit a timber hole, and it's timber out in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma. And if you've driven Oklahoma, you know there's not much timber with water in it. Everything's dry. So excitement's in the air. We got get set up here and see if we can't shoot some Oklahoma green in the timber. this is a true timber hole, and I'm like 0-5 in the timber, so I can shut down a timber hole, but this is really, really cool. I mean, it literally is a little timber hole right here in Oklahoma. So they're roosting on a feedlot, or there's a feedlot close here that they're feeding, and then they're popping back in here for a drink of water. There was some ducks in here roosting that they pushed out of here, softly pushed them out this morning. So it's just a little roost timber hole. Ducks like timber, they feel safe in it. I think this morning hopefully we give them a little bit of a surprise. So our last day here with Roy at Grindstone Outfitters. So we decided we didn't take all the floating decoys with us. We took 24 Dakotas down there. I think we ran 5 lucky agitators, and we just decided because of the size of the hole, small number, and it was windy, but it was really calm down in there, so it was still water. So we put all the agitators out, and it was kind of funny because I didn't get in on the decoy placement. And I got down there and I saw what was going on. I thought, yeah, you know, it might work. It seemed a little tight to me. I loved the agitators going. And we got set up just in time. I mean, it wasn't quite shooting time. And we had one drake right before shooting time come in and almost land on us. And I thought, okay, this might work. Get him. Ooh, good shot. We're picking away at them. They're windy, really windy, but we're protected down in here. The ducks just kind of pop into this hole. They've been roosting in here all day, every day, so no big bunches coming in, which is kind of fun. Call each other out on shots and see who can shoot, who can't shoot. But we're picking away at them here, and I told Cody, we took a walk a little bit ago to warm up. I've seen more mallards this morning than we saw the last 2 days. We've been seeing nothing but pintails. And we haven't seen a pintail yet today. We just saw mallards, but it's beautiful. They're dropping right into the hole, right where we want them. Jeez, you get another ticket. Oh, great shot.
Is that what we're here for?
That was a good shot. Well, we're going to call it here on our last day in Oklahoma. Hunted with Grant and Roy from Grindstone this morning in this beautiful little timber hole. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous, probably 30 yards across. I was joking with the boys, in actual timber, other than what we do at Goose Farms, hunting in rice that's kind of in timber, I was 0 for 5 or 6. I'm now 1 for either 6 or 7, whatever the number is, but we had a great little shoot. The ducks are right in our face. I mean, I told Roy, one came in that he shot, I honestly made eye contact with him before he pulled the trigger, but beautiful little hole. Really cool. These guys got it going on. We are about almost an hour and a half from his lodge, so they go all over the place. He's got guides and scouts going every direction. So we got some Oklahoma green this morning. We saw more mallards today than we saw the last 2 days. The weather's changing. We've got to get picked up here. We're headed north. I usually say we're headed south, but we're actually headed north back up into Kansas to hunt with skiing outfitters. And we're meeting up with the Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy. We're going to see Violet in her 2nd year of action. So we're pretty excited about that. We'll see Josh and Keith here in just a few hours. So get packed up, head north to Kansas.
Next week on The Grind, Bill and Luke head north to Kansas to hunt with Wade Skeen of Skeen Gun Dogs and Outfitters. Joining the crew are Keith and Josh from Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy with their pup, Violet, for round 2 of Hunting on the River.
This is what happens when you have a 61-year-old man carry a dozen decoys, his gun, his blind bag, and a couple lucky ducks out through timber. You come out a little bit scarred. Now I'm officially an Oklahoman. If you'd have lost my milk, I'd have been one angry decoy salesman.